Yo guys, what is up? Eton1127, and this is going to be my second video on the How to Win series. And today we're going to be talking about the beginning of each game and how to do better in arena games and tournament games when you first start out in the game. I'm going to be showing 4 drop spots, and these are my favorite drop spots because some of them are a little more aggressive and you'll have more players with you, and then some of them there will be less players and it's a lot easier. Depending on your playstyle, you're going to want to go for different drop spots, and we're going to have all sorts of drop spots and selections for different kinds of players. This first drop spot is going to be Flush Factory, and a lot of people don't even know about Flush Factory and that it came back this season, but it's actually a great drop spot for people who maybe want less players and more low-key spot so that they can loot up for the end of the game. Another great thing about Flush Factory is that it has a lot of fishing spots, and so it's really good for getting all the loot you need and getting health and shield before you start a fight. As you can see here, I'm going to try to get a high drop spot, and the first step of dropping somewhere is looking back and seeing what players are going to drop around you. Getting a high drop spot is good because you can kill players before they kill you because you'll have high ground and you can get headshots on them. Here I'm just going to break into Flush Factory and then start looting up the inside. The great thing about Flush Factory is you always get full metal if you hit everything in it, and you always get full brick. This game I actually didn't get very lucky loot, and I had great weapons to start off with, but it progressively got better as I looted through. As you can see here, I go ahead and go to the fishing area with fishing rods there, and you can actually pick one up and fish up a few spots. I only got one here, but sometimes there will be more. I was actually able to get full shield from just that one fishing spot because it came with 2 shield fish. If you want to get more health, you're going to want to go near Slurpy Swamp if you don't get enough health, but I was able to get full health from the slurp fish, or from the shield fish. I ended up leaving Flush Factory with full metal, a lot of brick, and some wood. While I'm rotating, I actually go towards the left side so I can get fishing spots, and that's also a good side so you can get health and shield. But that's pretty much the beginning of the game for this landing spot. It's pretty simple, and since there was no one there, it was easy. And to get into the next drop spot, this is going to actually be Stealthy Stronghold, which is definitely my favorite solo drop spot of this season, mainly because you can get really good loot and you can get a good amount of fishing spots here. It's just you could just farm fishing spots here until a zone. And so as you can see here, I'm looking back and I'm checking for people behind me, and I didn't see anyone, so I just went ahead and looted. Then I hear someone coming in, so I make sure I open the chest and I get a charge in it. So I know I could probably win this fight because I didn't hear him take shield. So that was just an easy kill there. And since I know this drop spot, since I've been learning it, I can easily kill players like that here. If you can learn a drop spot, it's usually a lot better because you can understand where everything is, and if something's not supposed to be there, you know it's probably a player has been there or something else, you know. So here I'm just going to loot through Stealthy Stronghold and try to get as good loot as I can, and then I'm just going to try to leave Stealthy Stronghold. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and use my harpoon gun and start getting fish and good weapons out of it. And compared to the last drop spot, Stealthy Stronghold has a lot better loot, but it comes at the price of playing against harder players and more players, because usually the type of people that drop at Stealthy Stronghold know what they're doing. The point of me getting all these fishing spots is to try to get a rift fish, because rift fish are really important for in-game, and they're important for rotating at the beginning if you get a lot of them. but most of the time you're going to want to save your rift fish for in-game, especially if you're in a tournament, because you can use it just in case you're in a bad spot or in case you need to rotate and you don't have any rotation. The zone here actually pulls towards me, so it's an easy rotation. If you get zone and it's at the beginning of the game, you don't need to leave your drop spot. You can just keep farming your drop spot and chilling there with all your loot and stuff until you need to rotate. As you can see, I got a rift fish, so that helped a lot. I actually accidentally used the rift fish here because I was just misclicking it, and this will happen to you sometimes, especially if you fish a lot. You might accidentally use a rift fish. It's fine, just go back down if you need the loot. If you don't need the loot and you actually were fine with using the rift fish, you can just go ahead and play it off. Another thing a lot of people don't know is you can use the rift fish and then pick up another weapon after you use it. See, like right there, I just accidentally used my rift fish when I shouldn't have. It's much better to keep it for in-game. So yeah guys, that's pretty much it for this drop spot, and I would say the best part about this drop spot is no one can third party you while you're in a fight because there's large walls around you and there's lots of trees, so it's hard for someone to beam you like a controller player out of nowhere. It's much better for fights and stuff. So I usually do pretty well when I leave Stealthy Stronghold in arena games or in tournament games or anything pretty much. So the next drop spot I'm going to be talking about is going to be Camp Cod. And this is a great drop spot for a lot of people because sometimes you'll get one or two people and sometimes you won't get anyone going there, especially in tournaments and that kind of stuff. So if you go here in a tournament, you should be pretty successful. The best spot in Camp Cod is going to be metal. It's going to have the most amount of loot. And so usually I aim for metal like I'm doing right now. But once again, I'm looking back and checking how many players, and I actually see a player to my right, and so I'm watching him to see if he has a good drop, and if he does, I'm going to try to take metal. But it looks like he actually has a bad drop for house, so I'm just going to go to house instead of metal, and I'm going to try to get this shotgun that I see through the door, and then I just jump down on him, and it's a free kill pretty much. After that, I pretty much just loot through and get all the weapons and guns I need for mid and end game. And I also go ahead and get some fishing spots here, you're going to see. And yeah, it's pretty much a really good drop because I don't see anyone else here and it's just free loot. So here I just start farming a lot of wood from this house because this house has mostly wood. I also get some brick here, but that's mainly what I get. And as you can see, I already get a P90. So if any of you are controller players, that's really good to carry. But I'm not a controller player, so. So that's pretty much it for this drop spot. I pretty much just go through here, get lots of mats and lots of wood and stuff, and then I start getting fishing spots, but you know, I don't get a rift fish, which is kind of unlucky. Sometimes you won't get a rift fish and you just have to rotate by foot or use a boat, which there's also boats here. So there's a lot of good rotation here actually. But yeah, up here you're gonna see I actually get a legendary attack here, which is pretty lucky because that was one of my first few fishing spots. That's it for the drop spot. So this next drop spot is gonna be above Steamy. It's gonna be those 3 houses that's above it, and a lot of people are going there this season. So it's not as good of a drop spot as it was last season, but it's still really good for if you want a few kills at the beginning and you want some okay loot. It's a pretty good spot. It's not as contested as, you know, Steamy or Misty or one of those other places, but it's still fairly contested. In this game, you'll see I think 3 people drop with me, and I have to take them all out in order to make it through. Now you're gonna see one of the most important steps, and also one of the most overlooked steps when it comes to dropping at a spot, which is looking back and seeing all the players and where they're going to drop. Because if you don't know where they're dropping, then how are you going to figure out your own drop spot? So I get a tack here, and it's just pretty much a free kill because I have height on him. And I get headshots and he doesn't, so I pretty much win. So I build up here, and this guy on the other roof, I assume that he doesn't have shield, but he actually does. But I can still win the fight because I peace control him. Peace control is pretty much just when you take their builds and make it so that you're in control the whole fight, and you're the aggressor, and it's not them who's attacking you, it's you who's getting them, you know? And here I actually hit a pretty sick snipe on this guy. He was behind a rock, and as you can see here, boom. Just like that, baby. It's a free kill. 20 points. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. And yeah, that's my second video for the How to Win series. Next video on this How to Win series is going to be mid-game, and then I'm going to come out with in-game, which is probably going to be the hardest one, because even for me, I struggle with in-game a lot. In-game is hard for a lot of players. Mid-game is also going to be kind of complicated because, you know, it's not as easy as the beginning, where at the beginning you know where people are going to drop, you know, tilted's always going to be contested, but with mid-game you don't really know where people are going to be, and so it's kind of going to be out in the open, and I'm going to have to explain each part of it and how to walk through it and just how to play in general. And that video is going to be probably out tomorrow or day after tomorrow, so make sure you guys subscribe to see that, and also hit the like button if you like this video, and recommend this to your